Okay, what's good, ladies and gents? It's Tyler here, and we're doing League of Legends patch 5.11 rundown. I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach to this one, and I'm going to try to make my analysis pretty short. I'm going to only really go over quickly the changes, and yeah, because a lot of times not many people want to watch like a 25-minute video about stuff they might not care about. So I'm going to try to limit this one to maybe 5 or 6 minutes, and yeah, we'll see how that works out. So let's get right into it here. Just going to skip over this, go right into the balance changes. So Aatrox's passive is Bloodwell. It's the thing that he can store up, and he can revive himself based on how much of the Bloodwell has been stored up. The cooldown is now drastically goes down now per level, which is really nice for him because he's able to have that passive up for team fights, and it makes his team fighting a lot stronger. Ashe, since her rework, became one of the premier AD carries in the league, as she is a lane bully with utility in team fights. So what they're doing is they're toning down her lane bully ability, so she is more focused on her utility, but she's still doing some pretty mad damage. So she can no longer proc her Q on turrets, because her turrets taking ability used to be superior to even Jinx. They're reducing the damage on her W, the volley, and they're doing this to limit her lane bully potential. And while it's traveling, you can't see as big of an area around it now. Hawkshot updates their vision more frequently as you travel. Yeah, okay. So you can just see as it's going, but you don't have as big of a radius while it's going until it gets to the spot. Then you'll see everything clearly. So that's basically Ashe. Too long, didn't read. Less of a lane bully, still does lots of damage. Bran gets a really nice quality of life change, because before, when he would use his ultimate, if say Maokai would use his twisted advance onto a creep or onto you, the ultimate would just fizzle out because the champion became untargetable. Now it'll just bounce to a different target, which is really nice because Bran's effectiveness was really limited by this. So this makes Bran a bit of a stronger champion just through this change here. Caitlyn got some really nice changes on this new patch. Her ultimate, or her passive, is now like Yasuo's ultimate, her headshot, where it ignores 50% of the target's bonus armor. So that's not your base armor, that's extra armor that you get through buying items and through runes and masteries, things like that. Remember, this is 1 in every 7 autos where this will take place, and this is really good in the late game, especially when people, because it's pretty negligible in the early game when no one has any armor, but as this scales up, it's really nice. Yordle Snap Trap, it arms in the same amount of time every time now, 1.1 seconds, that's about it. And Ace in the Hole, so now once the target goes out of vision, even when you started the cast on them, it'll go anyway. It'll give vision at the start of the cast instead of at the end of the channel. So you won't get situations like there was a post on Reddit a little while ago where there was a Lee Sin just bouncing around the Ace of the Hole because he'd keep breaking the vision at the last second. The newest champion to League of Legends, Echo, was definitely a little bit overtuned on his release. So what they're doing here is they're tuning him down a little bit just to test the waters. His base movement speed lowered slightly to 340. They're upping the mana cost on his W, which is parallel convergence. That's the thing where it gives like an area that'll slow. And if Echo enters the area while they're in the area, it'll stun them and give Echo a shield. So before it would give you vision of the area as soon as it's casted, but now you have to wait 2 seconds after the cast to get vision, which is a pretty big change because before Echo would throw down the zone and then he'd just be able to dash into it knowing exactly where the opponent was. Now you have to wait 2 seconds. And I think the zone only lasts for 3 seconds, so it's definitely a harder to use spell now. And his ultimate, you can now more clearly see Echo's clone, which is crucial. Because knowing where his clone is how you're going to counter using his ultimate. Hecarim's been one of the best top laners in the game for quite some time, so they're toning him back even more so again. His passive Warpath, the update cycle is going down to 0.25 seconds, so it's easier to basically, when you have Home Guard, your damage isn't going to be quite as insane as before. His Warpath, right, he gets extra attack damage based on his movement speed. So essentially now, while you're home guarding, you won't have nearly as much attack damage, so you can't sit in base with home guard, TP into a fight, and insta kill the backline 80 carry or the AP mid or whatever. They actually like where Hecarim is at in the game, but they don't like his ability to insta kill an 80 carry as a tank, which is understandable completely. Jace. Now Jace got a lot of changes in the sense that you can no longer rank up his ultimate, which was his transform, but each of his abilities now has 6 levels, his Q, W, and E. This is really good because leveling up Jace's ultimate was something that no player did anyway. You would obviously be forced into taking the first point of it, but after that you would just not touch it. So this gives more diversity to the Jace player in the sense where you no longer have to update the skill, and you get more things out of his other 3. So things here like at the 3rd rank or at the 6th rank, his Q damage goes up in both forms. His same with his W in both forms. Like it's a buff in at rank 6 for both. Basically, he was at level 6 for both skills. He was essentially he's essentially buffed at level 6. It's a slight increase. At level 5, there's either no change or he was slightly nerfed. Jace is definitely a better champion after these changes, and he may make a return to competitive play, coming to solo queue near you. Katarina's E damage, so her escape, her Shunpo, the damage was lowered slightly just to make it so that her E wasn't a nuke spell to harass in addition to everything else. Her E is meant to kind of get her into the fight and then get her out. That's it. Not to do damage. Kha'Zix's isolation radius goes down a little bit, so it's easier to catch people in isolation, but it's not so easy that you can just appear beside someone and just destroy them. LeBlanc got a few changes in this patch. Her distortion missile speed goes down, so it's an overall slower cast. And the width box of her chain, or the hitbox of her chain, goes down as well, so it's actually harder to hit. And these 2 effects go to her ultimate as well. Malphite got some changes here where his W now no longer gives him the AD, so rest in peace Trinity Force Malphite. But he gets additional armor, and when you activate it, it procs magic damage. Or it scales off of AP, but it procs physical damage. So essentially now it's even more beneficial for Malphite to build armor, as it will do. He's still going to be doing great damage, but you can't really do this on-hit attack speed Malphite anymore. Do I have to stop this? Okay, I'm just going to keep going. Lockout snapping up. So Orianna got a slight little nerf here. Nothing too big. Ryze is the most broken champion in the game at the moment. They didn't really do anything here. All they did was do a bug fix. Get ready for 5.12, or Ryze is going to get nerfed to the ground. I'll go more in that when 5.12 hits. Sejuani or Flail the Northern wins. We went over this last time in patch 5.10, but the change apparently never went live. So here we go. It's going live now. Shen, his passive is better, and his E is better as you go into the late game because we have scaling energy costs here, finally, after like 5 years of playing League of Legends. And here's the big thing for Shen. He gets MR per level now, something that he never got. So this puts Shen in a really good spot, and with the meta trending to how it is, Shen could actually be a pretty good pick in the top lane because he no longer is reliant on taking magic resist glyphs, and he scales better into late game naturally now, which is where the game is trending. So Shen could be a very good top laner. Shyvana, this is nice for jungle and top lane Shyvana. Shyvana's auto attacks now do 25% of Burnout's AoE damage every time you auto attack, but that's only while Burnout's running. So this is really good for farming the jungle, and it's good for trading in the top lane. Sivir got nerfed as well because Sivir is one of the champions that is currently shaping the meta in the sense that she's a great disengage and engage tool, and she helps you get around the map faster. But the initial move speed duration for Sivir's On the Hunt, or her ultimate, is going down slightly because you don't want to have that 6-second movements, or that big movement speed buff for 6 seconds. So they're essentially making it go down quicker. So you'll still have an overall move speed buff, but it's lesser as it scales. Item-wise, Luden's Echo was a little bit too strong. So they made it that you get less stacks of it per spell cast, and it has a lower all AP ratio. Uh, Luden's Echo is really good on these poke champions like Kog'Maw and Ziggs, who have we seen come back, and it's really good. And that's really all I'm going over, you guys. We got some cool skins coming next patch as well, prehistoric and the prehistoric skins. That's really all I'm going to do. I'm trying to keep this one really short. If you saw the Facebook post, I wanted to keep this one really short and sweet, less information. Let me know if you like this one or if you want the other ones. And yeah, that's actually it from me. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you soon.